بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا، وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. اللهم يا معلم داود علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. اللهم انفعنا بالقرآن العظيم، اللهم ارفعنا بالقرآن العظيم، اللهم ارحمنا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنه لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك، لك الملك ولك الحمد وأنت على كل شيء قدير. نسألك خير ما في هذه الليلة، نورها وبركتها ورزقها وهداها. اللهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين، اغفر لنا ولوالدينا، رب ارحمهم كما ربونا صغارا يا الله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. So in our last session we talked about the tajweed of أتأمرون الناس واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة, and then الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون. So if you want we can read Ayah 44, 45 and then 46. We're going to just recite them, okay? And then inshallah we talk about the meanings very quick. Are you ready, Hajj? Yeah. Bismillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Put your phone aside, أخي. والله إذن الله. Yes, just put it there. Read with us and that's it. Yeah, بارك الله. Yes. We're gonna read Ayah 44, inshallah. You following? You got Ayah 44?
44, yeah. 44.
You got it? Ayah 44? أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون. بارك الله فيكم. We talked about the tajweed, so inshallah I'm going to read now, recite. Go ahead, bismillah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون.
أحسن الله إليك يا أخي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وإنهم إليه راجعون
وأنهم يشهدون وأنهم fourth line from the bottom.
الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون.
أحسن الله إليك، بارك الله فيك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أتأمرون الناس بالبر
وتنسون
أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون
we skip the alif. واستعينوا بالصبر. There is no lam there. بالصبر. واستعينوا أيوه
بالصبر
والصلاة
وإنها لقادرة إلا على الخاسرين الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم
وأنهم إليه
راجعون.
أحسن الله إليك، بارك الله فيك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة and seek help. استعينوا means seek help. Yes, seek help using two main elements. The first one is a sabr and a salah. So benefit from these two things to help you in whatever you are facing, whatever you're trying to tackle. واستعينوا بالصبر, seek help, seek refuge, الاستعانة, to get the help from two things, الصبر and الصلاة. الصبر is of three categories. الصبر. Now let's first compare صبر and صلاة as عبادات. الصبر and الصلاة as عبادات. Which one is better in your opinion? الصبر and الصلاة. And why? Even though each one of them is a virtue, الصلاة أعظم. الصلاة أعظم وأشد. الصلاة is to produce something. Salah, you remember when we mentioned the two concepts? We mentioned Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. We said Nahy anil Munkar is easy. Because Nahy anil Munkar, you're using a hadith as a red card to stop people. So it is more of stopping people from doing things. But a salah is ijad. A salah is producing something. You add something to the reality. A sabr, you're just showing patience from something that you lacked. You're not producing. You're not producing. You are handling whatever happened before.
But there is no salah without sabr.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we're talking about it in the categories of sabr. A sabr is multiple categories. Multiple categories. But a salah is, salah when we say al-amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, right? Al-nahy anil munkar, it is a lower form of ibadah than al-amr bil ma'ruf. Because al-amr bil ma'ruf, you have to produce a new form. You are adding to the reality by al-amr bil ma'ruf. And we said al-amr bil ma'ruf is not just to tell people to do things. You know, it requires a lot of skills. You know, one of them is you being the example. Subhanallah. It is for those who ask people to do goodness while they do not do it, right? So being the example is part of al-amr bil ma'ruf. Here, استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. Seek help in two things, in الصبر and الصلاة.
I understood that verse which is, maybe I'm wrong. واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing you how to stop from committing evil, committing fahsha, or any evil deed or thought or anything. That it is in the nature of human to get angry at something that he cannot control, or something that's out of his control, or something that he wants to control, or somebody is oppressing him. In either way, he wants to get angry about it and he wants to lash out. So you need
to go back again to sabr and salah. And salah.
And then saying, go to prayer.
Yes.
So, a good wife,
But it's not
a husband, when he gets angry at the children, just go make turuk.
but it's not only this isti'ana, this help that you can get from utilizing sabr and salah. It's not only for problems. It is for everything. Sabr is multiple categories. One of them is as-sabr ala ta'atillah. The first one is sabr when you're performing ibadat. As you said, no salah without sabr. You know, when you wake up for fajr, you drive here to the masjid, even though, yes, jihad, when the Sahaba were asked to go and perform ibadah with the Prophet ﷺ, right? When they used to go and fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the Prophet. Sabr, because the nafs hates to perform ibadat. And nafs, right? You know, like when you give sadaqah, right? I mean, $10,000 or $1,000, nafs will say, no, save it. You have kids. Or, you know, fasting Ramadan, right? Nafs, shaitan will come say, eat. I mean, subhanAllah, even, you know, in summer, you've lived those feelings, right? In summer, after winter, and then had this beautiful time where it would be perfect for a cup of tea or right? A serious, that's sabr ala ta'atillah azza wa jal. That's the sabr when you perform ibadah. The second category of sabr is sabr from committing the sins that are the forms of the disobedience of Allah. So it's a lower now. Sabr, ibadat, that's the highest level. Second one is sabr from committing sins. Okay? You know, people, I mean, money, easy money with no work, that's stealing, right? Easy money, no work, you know. But you say no, because Allah said it's haram.
It is easier.
Huh?
It's easier.
No, not easier. In the ajr, in terms of the ranking. A person a person showing discipline to come to salah every day. That is sabr ala ta'atillah. This person reading Quran, discipline, any kind of ibadah, this way it's the highest form. Stopping yourself from committing the sins, that's the second one. Lower in rank than the first one. Because second one, Allah said it's haram. You need to stop yourself. You need to stop yourself because it's haram. Okay? If you still have desires and you fight yourself, it's, as we said, it's the second form of patience, which is the patience of, like that you showing sabr, okay, from going to commit haram. Because Allah says haram, and, as we said, haram is tempting, right? Drinking, haram relationships, person who's not married, easy access, stealing, etc., right? And you say, no, haram is haram. And you stop yourself. That is the second one, the second form. When we say second, it's also lower than the first one. Because ibadat is, salah, nothing stands with salah, right? If a person has, iman, and he prays, all sins will disappear.
Salah is for you.
But that's a very important point, and we need to mention this. The salah that can be used and utilized as a tool to give you help and support is the salah where it is, when it is the salah performed with khushu', not this. May Allah forgive us. When we say Allahu Akbar for salah, yes, and then we check the box that we prayed dhuhr or asr, right? We are in hurry. Our minds are thinking, okay, when will we do the paint? When we will do this and that, right? Subhanallah. So salah that will help you, salah that, from which you can get the help and the support is the salah that is mixed with khushu'. You say Allahu Akbar, and then you are aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From the moment you say Allah.
So he knows the insan. He knows khalq. He tells you who khalq. He tells you who you are. He tells you what the insan is, human. He tells you you're going to have these desires. You're going to have these things, these wishes, these dreams, these ideas in your head. You're going to want to do. Some of them are vice. Some of them will lead you to vice and to lead you to bad things. So if you take the sabr, if you rely, tasta'in, you rely like a crutch on sabr, patience, to wear through that and say, and then he forces the next thing, was salah. That's action, like you said, and that's habit. So he takes you from the evil thought to khushu', to the level of action, which is human, is habit forming. So when he sees this, he says, okay, I have this, but I still have these ideas in my head about. But when he goes to khushu', now he's doing action. So it's relieving a lot of the adrenaline. They tell you when you come to speak in front of people, and you're not a speaker, oral speaker. You get up, and some people get nervous, their whole body starts to shake, and their voice starts to shake, right? It is the anxiety in them that's making them shake, but it's really the adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Adrenaline inside of it that does this. So what they tell you to do if you acquire this, right, is to listen to this, stand behind the curtain before you go on and do 12 jumping jacks. Can you believe that?
This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a human messenger. Because in the human messenger, you can find that there are human beings, because you mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us this way, as human beings. And He knows that human beings are, more prone into committing sins, etc., right? And being distracted, a lot of things. But the idea of sending human messengers is that to tell us that there are humans, and the Sahaba, for example, as human beings, that there are those who will fight their desires and they can become better. These are the tools that he can use, which they were using As-sabr and as-salah. And this should help you to navigate this world, right? The world that is full of trials. Yes. Now, we said 3 categories, right? The first one is sabr ala ta'atillah, sabr an ma'siyatillah, and the third one is as-sabr ala aqdarillah. Ala aqdarillah. There is, yes, there is the sabr that you show, towards things that you have no control of. Yes, missing a person that you love, whatever, health, whatever problem, whatever, calamity hits you, right? Now here, there is a beautiful quote that we're gonna paraphrase here. It says that, like you have, as a mu'min, as a Muslim, right? You have 2 options. Either that when you are hit with a calamity, that you show patience and, you say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim, and then, you suppress all those feelings of, whatever, because when you lose, sometimes, yes, it's rage, it's regret, it's all those mixed feelings, because this is why you feel sad, because there was a way out. Why did it happen, right? So you say, la hawla wa quwwata illa billahi al-azim, and you say, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, and then, you say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did this for a reason, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I know that what Allah has is way better for me, right? Or what will happen is that, as one of the righteous predecessors says, or you will forget like animals, because you will forget. Give me one problem, one catastrophe that happens to you, and you still remember it until today with the same rage and regret and tears. You forget. So it's either that the moment you are hit with a calamity, that you show those feelings of sabr and gratitude, etc., and then you will forget it anyway. Or you keep expressing those, the shouting and why did this happen to me and why is that, and then you keep crying and whining about it, but eventually you will what? You will forget. Yes. So.
That's the hadith of the lady who had her son died. And she said, how do you
Yes, the Prophet ﷺ came to her, right, and he said, woman, show patience, endure this. She said, how would you know? It's not your son, right? You're not the one who lost his son. And he left the Prophet ﷺ. He did not say, ittaqillah, fear Allah, No, he just left because he knows that she's in pain. And then the Sahaba came, he said, did you know the person you talked to? He was the messenger of Allah. So she felt shy. She followed the Prophet ﷺ into his house. And she said, Ya Rasulullah, I will show patience. I will. He said, no, it's in the first shock. It's when they tell you that something happened. That's the moment you say, Alhamdulillah.
The next part of that same ayah that's really wasta'inu means to use this wasta'inu
As tools, yeah.
use this tool, this crutch.
Yes.
Wasta'inu, use this. Sabr and salah. But the next part of the ayah, that's the revealing part. Because if you don't do that, لَوَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى.
Ya salam. Allah yabarak feek. You're right.
That's where it is.
So here,
It leads to arrogance.
yes.
If you don't do that, you are arrogant. It's basically how you're dealing with it. You're become arrogant.
Now here, for the sake of time, we're going to go
Human will become
over this very quick because it's already 8:20. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He brought us sabr and as-salah, right? And we said that as-salah is just to block yourself from doing things, it's more of emotions, while as-salah is more of an activity. It's a production. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them together, right? Seek help in patience. That's to control what you're feeling. And then as-salah is to act so you can change your reality, right? More of positive reaction, right? Positive activity. More adding to your reality, which is the salah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. Innaha, indeed it is. Now the verb, the pronoun here, innaha. وَإِنَّهَا. Now the scholars had 3 opinions because innaha, the ha, the pronoun, it goes back again either to as-salah alone, because there is a linguistic claim that it is the last noun. Pronouns go back again to the last noun. Or الصبر والصلاة, both of them, صبر and salah, إنها, لكبيرة على الخاشعين, and this is something huge, something big, something unbearable. You cannot do it. It's not easy. It's not something easy to do, except for those who have khushu', and meaning they have taqwa. So when you say to someone, seek help in patience and in salah, if you come to a person who has taqwa in his heart, he will find these tools as useful tools, and he will do it. It is easy for him to utilize sabr and salah when needed. But for a person who is not a khashi', person whose heart is more attached to dunya, and you tell him in the time of calamity, for example, Ya akhi, benefit from sabr and salah, it's going to be, what are you talking about, akhi? What kind of sabr, what kind of salah? It's kabira, it's beyond, for them, they cannot believe that this can help. Now, going back again to the pronouns, innaha. Huh?
They're already in, they're the subject of it. They're part of that.
Yeah.
They're part of the issue. So now they think like you are not in it. That's why it's easy for you to say.
That's part of what shaitan make them, feel it. Yes.
There's the area.
Yes. Yes. Now here, وَإِنَّهَا, as we said, goes back again to salah, or to as-sabr and as-salah, or to the isti'anah itself, to the help, seeking help itself. To seek help and to seek help in sabr, the patience, endurance, and in salah is something that no one can handle except the khashi'in. No one can see the benefit of this except for the khashi'in. Those who have khushu', they know that if they utilize sabr and salah, if they rely on sabr and salah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be there to help them out. Yes.
This is the problem.
True believers. Yes.
It leads to arrogance. And that's exactly what he said. Here's a crutch, a sabr and salah. Although it's too big for those, إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. Look, the khushu' means to what? To humiliate, almost to humiliate, to lower yourself to their khushu', to bow to this.
One beautiful way of looking at this point, akhi, one beautiful way is, what is the purpose of salah? Salah is the time where you reset your moralities, your principles, and your life. Now, when you are hit with a calamity, or you're worrying about something in this dunya, you want to acquire this, right? And you come to salah. If you come to salah without khushu', dunya is still there. But when you come to salah with khushu', you are deactivating everything and you are reconnecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are reconnecting with the best of values, the best of moralities. And that is why you can find help in salah, because whatever has hit you before salah, and you say Allahu Akbar, and you enter the state of khushu', it humbles you, right? It makes you aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It makes you what? Recorrect your understanding of what happened before salah. Now you're connected with Allah. You have clear mind.
You bring many things in play. You bring the beginning of the Surat AlBaqarah, and where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the angels his intention of creating human. And he also, and Iblis hears these things, and he understands them. He understands them. But he is the one, when this thing also shocks him. It is the shock.
Yes.
It is the shock that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create something superior to it.
Sahih. And he did not show patience
And he
to
did not
listen.
show patience to make what?
Subhanallah. Yes.
Khushu'.
Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
This is all ties into
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
so he gives you the crutch, he gives the human.
You can also connect it, akhi. You can also connect it. It's a very beautiful connection. You can also connect it to the story of Adam, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us the tools that we can utilize in order to perform ibadah in the best way. Because this is why he mentioned the story of Adam, for us as a lesson. So for you, human beings, as a creation that is, capable of committing sins and slipping, right? Whenever you feel that you are weak and fragile, seek help in sabr and salah. Okay? This is what will bring you back again, on track. And then Allah Ta'ala explains the word al-khashi'in. Who are the khashi'in? The khashi'in, those who perform khushu'. Khushu' is that when your heart, your mind, your brain, everything in you is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you say Allahu Akbar for salah, you're not thinking about money or dunya or whatever, right? That is the best form of salah. And it is the only salah you can rely on in the time either of difficulty or when you have dunya as something, you're worrying about. Al-khashi'in are those الذين يظنون. Listen to this. الذين يظنون. يظن in Arabic means think. But يظنون here is not for the meaning of thinking or assuming. It is believing. Okay? Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَظَنُّوا أَن لَا مَلْجَأَ مِنَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا إِلَيْهِ. يعني علموا, because in the moment when talking about death and they are returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no assuming here, right? So وَظَنُّوا أَن لَا مَلْجَأَ مِنَ اللَّهِ إِلَيْهِ, it means that they knew for sure that there is no way away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except to Him. Okay? So here يظنون is more of they know, they believe that أنهم ملاقو ربهم, that they will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and وأنهم إليه راجعون. You see how many pronouns that refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the use or the overuse of pronouns, it is to emphasize that connection between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أنهم إليه راجعون. Yes. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم إليه راجعون. So here the khashi'in are those who have a deep belief that they will go back again to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that they will see Him, they will meet Him. And there is a hadith in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that each one of you will meet his Lord with no barriers. You will meet your Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of judgment with no barriers. But there are many categories, and what matters to us is the categories of the believers, in which the Prophet ﷺ said that, one category of believers, Allah will bring the person, and you will be talking to Allah with no barriers, and Allah will say to the believers, those khashi'in, He say, remind them, He say, didn't you do this 1, 2, 3, 4 sins? He will say, yes, Ya Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to the believer, I concealed these sins for you in dunya, I will forgive you now. But it's for those who had khushu'. Okay? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on us. Ameen, Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ghafir lana ajma'in. Allahumma habil musi'ina minna lal muhsinin. Allahumma ij'alna min al-khashi'in. Allahumma ij'alna min al-khashi'in. Allahumma ij'alna min al-khashi'in. Allahumma arhamna bil-Qur'an al-Karim. Allahumma anfa'na bil-Qur'an al-Karim. Allahumma arfa' darajatina bil-Qur'an al-Karim. اللهم علمنا منه ما جهلنا. اللهم ارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار على الوجه الذي يرضيك عنا. اللهم اجعله شاهدا لنا لا شاهدا علينا. اللهم ألبسنا به الحلل. اللهم أسكننا به الظلل. اللهم اجعله لنا في قبورنا نورا وضياء يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم اجعل هذه اللحظات التي نقضيها في هذا المكان المبارك لحظات نذكرها في جنات الخلد يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. إن أصبت فمن الله وإن أخطأت فمن نفسي والشيطان والله ورسوله بريئان منه ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. جزاكم الله خيرا.